Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review for my custom Armada overload. So here he is with the legacy Armada Optimus Prime. So you can see this combination works pretty well. So even if you just have like a regular Armada overload, you can definitely combine him. I sort of saw a video that kind of did it this way. It's not my favorite, but this is kind of the best way to do it. And it's pretty secure. So even if you just get the figure without combining it, you could combine these two, but I think you should just wait because it looks like they're definitely going to make a legacy overload. But yeah, not a bad looking combination. But yeah, the cannon's overload's a little bit too big for this figure. We could also flip him over and see what the cannons look like if they're facing the other direction. And that kind of looks cool too with these pieces above the figure, but I kind of like having these pieces be shields in front of his shoulders. And the other little thing I did is you can see it, that's like the original Armada Optimus Prime's gun, which is a little bit bigger compared to his new one. It's like 20% bigger. It's not huge, but it fits the Armada Optimus better because he's so big anyway. The combined mode. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they're going to do this legacy figure because, yeah, this figure is just a little bit too big. He could still probably combine with the, even after all these mods I put on him, he can still probably combine with the original Armada Optimus Prime. So if I have to upgrade to the legacy one, it's not the end of the world. I could just sell this guy. And then if we look at how these are actually going to combine when they do make the official product, you can actually see down here, this is where the combiner port's going to be. So that's where the overload's going to peg in. And then this shape here is actually perfectly shaped to accommodate this right here. So this is actually the same shape that will peg in right there. So this pegs in right there. You just do that real fast. Just move these giant cannons out of the way. And you can see, oh, and we have to move this down. But this will slot, even the original figure slots perfectly right there, which is very cool. So I'll real fast just put this back in robot mode. All right, so here's that kind of T-shaped slot, and again here's that piece that's going to fit right in there. So you just slide that in, and I'm sure on the legacy version there's going to be a combining port slot or tab that slots into here from here, but on the original figure that's not there, unfortunately. So this is not going to hold up at all, but this is basically what he would look like in this configuration, which is pretty cool. But this backpack just massively sticks out like this. So I'm sure in the new figure, they're going to resolve that so it combines a little bit better. And then we could just extend his arms here to try to slot these over his arms. And then it would kind of fit something like that. I can't really show it. Okay, there we go. We'll just have the wall, like kind of hold that into place. It'd be something like that, which I don't think is better than the other backpack configuration because this sticks out even further now, which is worse. And now he's actually even a little back heavy. But that kind of works. So it'll be really cool to see how they end up doing that. They'll get a figure that's better scaled to this legacy size. So let's transform this from his cannon mode into his robot mode. So the first thing that you do on this is it kind of works the same as his original figure, but you kind of have to cheat a little bit here and there. But basically you line this up, and there's a little tab here that lines up with these slots. So you tab that, and then you're just going to slide his legs over there. So that rail system still works. And then you just finish pushing this up. Then you're going to flip out his feet, flip this panel up to make his hands, and that's basically his robot mode. And then, because that didn't take very long, let's just do it one more time. Going to slide this up a bit and then line up that slot to the rail system, and then we just slide it over, flip out his foot, finish raising this up. There you go. That's his whole articulated body, and his knees are definitely floppy. I guess I didn't choose the best ball joints, the tightest ball joints for his knees, so that's kind of disappointing, because all the rest of his joints are pretty good. These ones hold up pretty good. And then you're going to take his Minicon, and that's just going to slide into his chest. And I did remove his electronics, so that's kind of unfortunate. And this random flap is just going to go here. And then you raise his head, and then move this shaft back a little bit. And then there's basically, there he is in all his glory, which is pretty good looking. I actually bought this guy again like 6 years ago. I was planning on combining him with a Beast Wars figure or a Zoids figure to make a new Beast Wars figure, but I just never found the right combination. So he's just been lying in my parts box in several pieces for a long time. Until finally I just added the ball joints, and now he's fully articulated. But yeah, you can see like his proportions look really good. I've always liked the way this guy looked. Just his proportions were just really off, and his lack of articulation really bugged me. So I fixed that, and I think he looks really excellent now. Here he is with my other custom Armada figures who I also articulated. So they look pretty good together. I think just the aesthetic is really cool. Just the figures themselves were kind of junk back in the day, just because the articulation. But once you articulate them, I think they really hold up. And then you can see he's pretty big compared to Optimus Prime. He's definitely out of scale. All right, and there he is with the core Optimus Prime. You can see he's definitely out of scale. I imagine they'll make this guy about this size, probably charge leader class price. Maybe not if we're lucky. I have to admit, it feels kind of weird making all these Armada customs that are kind of just going to be replaced by Legacy anyway, but oh well. So some of I pretty much gave him every articulation possible. So he's got neck articulation, so he can look side to side. So you can see I just put a ball joint there, and that still lets his head move up and down for transformation. So that's pretty great. That still works. And I put these ball joints in his shoulders, so he can now raise his arms out this much, which is a lot. And then he's got ball joint elbows, but he can't quite bend his elbows very much. It's like 45 degrees, which not that big a deal, honestly. But that also gives him his bicep swivel. But yeah, his arm, he's not going to get like very dynamic poses. It's just not that kind of figure. And he's got these ball joint hips now. I definitely have to do something to cover up this acrylic rod right there. But so he can do like a full outward kick. And he's got full forward, backwards. So he's got complete hip articulation. And then I gave him ball joint knees too, so he can also bend his knees 90 degrees, which is, again, pretty unnecessary, but I was already customizing this guy. Why not? Might as well give him the full range of articulation, and nothing in the feet. I just left those alone. But yeah, so you can pull off really dynamic poses, which kind of doesn't work for this guy. Oh yeah, and he's got a waist swivel now, so he's got a ball joint here, so you can even get like ab crunch. So it's just a ball joint. You can rotate this around the best you can. This plastic kind of gets in the way. But yeah, so he's got all the articulation you could expect. He could definitely sit down now. Definitely the neutral poses are the ones that he does the best, but you can get him in like maybe doing some kind of kneeling Iron Man kind of pose, I guess. You can't really look up, but something. Big improvement from what he used to be able to do, because he was a huge brick that could only move his hips and his shoulders. So that was like the big fun thing for me to do, is just give him all this new articulation, which I think gives him a lot more personality. And I just always love this head sculpt. It's just really such a great head sculpt. I think this guy deserves a new figure. He's very interesting looking. So to transform him to vehicle mode, we're just going to rotate these panels up. we're going to disengage his little mini con and put his head back into it, and that's just going to be a separate piece. And then you're going to rotate his toes down. You don't need to open the panel to do that. And I actually gave him, another thing I improved is now this yellow stripe is on the outside instead of these ugly things. So I think that just looks so much cooler. But so there's an extra step in transformation where you have to rotate this around now. And then you have to rotate his thighs so they'll face the right way. And wait, that doesn't seem right. No, these definitely peg together. Okay, yeah, these joints peg together. That's right. So on the original figure, you did have to rotate the thighs like this to transform him. You don't have to do that on this figure. Instead, you just rotate his whole waist since he has that joint now. So we're just going to rotate that all the way around. Oh, wait, that doesn't seem right. I don't know, maybe I already did that when I switched him from cannon mode. I have no idea. But anyway, you're going to rotate his arms. You have to extend these out. And then you fold them out like this. And this is going to be the front of his vehicle mode. So then you rotate these up. So his vehicle modes basically look like this. And then the feet are going to peg into this, just like the original figure did. So it's basically just going to close up like that. I can definitely make that a little bit neater. But he's a lot more fiddly with ball joints. So I'm just going to have to move these ball joints around until I get some kind of configuration that I like. But that's basically his vehicle mode. All right, there we go. I cleaned that up a little bit. And then I think in this mode, this is supposed to rotate up. I'm not sure. Every time I've seen people transform this, I've never seen them actually use this joint. And then this is just going to peg into here. And usually he has a hitch here that pegs into Optimus Prime's trailer. But I might have bought this guy used and that hitch is gone, or it's in my parts box somewhere. But anyway, there's his vehicle mode. That was the last thing I cared about, so obviously it doesn't look very good. But you could definitely put a space shuttle on top of here. It wouldn't make much difference. So yeah, not too bad. And then he does have one extra mode, actually. I'm back into cannon mode, and the original figure had these little clips here that could peg into Optimus's base mode. I don't know how they're going to work it out, if they even bother with that this time. They might just use the combination port back here. I bet you that's what they're going to do, actually, because this still fits right in here. So probably this will be, this will be the combined gun emplacement mode, and then I can just use his legs to like prop him up like this, something. So it'll be something like this, I bet, which is actually, that's actually kind of cool. I think I owned Overload for years before I even realized that the little clips in his thighs could actually combine him with Optimus's base mode. But yeah, that I think that'll be pretty cool. It definitely fleshes out the base, makes it bigger. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new Overload, because this guy's just a little bit too big. I can't wait. Hopefully they show off the new Overload next week. But if not, I've got this guy as a placeholder for now. That is pretty, I really do like that base mode now. That just makes it look a lot more interesting. But yeah, I hope you liked that review. And I'll see you in the next one.